Hey everyone, what's up? I'm Stephanie Liu, and welcome to Digital Confetti, where we share with you strategies on how you can repurpose your live stream and sprinkle it all across the internet so that you can connect with more audiences and you could build your brand and your bottom line. So, hey, welcome to the show. We've got, oh my goodness, I've been geeking out with her in the green room, and I was like, man, we have so much that we could talk about. But before I introduce you to her, let's first talk about what the show's about. Here's the thing, everyone, every month, 2 billion viewers come to YouTube to laugh, learn, and connect. And creators have built entire businesses on YouTube. And now the platform is helping live streamers just like you and me grow a community with YouTube Shorts. But what the hell are YouTube Shorts? Well, that's exactly what Shelly Saves the Day is doing. And that's what we're going to talk about today on the show. So if you're looking for a new way to get discovered by new fans who are looking for fresh voices and perspectives, then this is the episode for you. Because we're going to be talking about how to tap into the growing vertical video trend. Not only that, though, you'll also learn about the #1 YouTube Shorts mistake to avoid. Last but not least, we'll talk about easy YouTube Shorts ideas that you can make in about 10 minutes. That's probably something that Shelly didn't even hear about, but she just heard it right now. So having said that, let me tell you a little bit more about her because I'm excited to have her here. Everywhere that I'm hanging out online, live streaming and all those other things, I always hear her name pop up, and it makes absolute sense. She is a content creator based in Seattle. She's a conference speaker. She's the creator of the iMovie Made Easy, which is pretty much a comprehensive video education course for those looking to grow with video. She's a lover of live streaming. Yay! I love to find like other streaming sisters, and a vertical video mega enthusiast. So having said that, Shelly, come on to the show. How you doing, friend?
Hey, I'm doing so awesome. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here and talk with you. And did I hear a rumor that this is the season finale? And I was like, excuse me, what? I am on the season finale? I was like, oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, and I was so excited because it's not very often that I find other women, female, Asian content creators. And so when I was like,
down the box.
I was like, hey, slid into the DMs.
She did. She slid in. She's like, hey, girl, hey. And I was like, oh, it's Stephanie Liu. I was very excited.
I had this whole script in my head of like, so I saw you on Doc's show and I've heard so much about it, like trying to like cool down on the fangirling stuff. But you guys, she's so damn cool. We were geeking out on some other things earlier about like mic placements and how it could feel awkward just having a mic in shot. So good stuff. You guys are here for a good time. Shelly, you're in Seattle. How's the weather? Is it?
It's okay. It's a little overcast, a little cold right now, but we've had some nice weather lately, so I can't complain too much because I got my second shot a few weeks ago. I've been like starting to venture outside because I have been like in home, like I've been at my house. And so now I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's outside time. It's outside time. I'm so excited.
I know. Like, okay, so it's really funny. If you watch all of my 2020 videos, I am super pale AF. And then I
am. That's why I am this pale. I have not seen the sun in a year.
and then we the family got vaccinated. And then we went camping. And then the next time I went on air, the viewers were like,
did you self-tan?
They're like, what are you doing?
I love it. I love it.
Good. All right. So shout out to the crew that's here. We've got the amazing, the wonderful Tim Sohn. He is my second co-producer for whenever I need to do remote live video production. We've got Camilla tuning in for Sweden.
Hello.
I don't even know what the time difference is for that. Do you know?
+10? I don't know. You'll have to correct me because also I'm in Pacific time, and then sometimes my friends are in Eastern, and then they tell me they're Sweden time. It's like 8 for them, maybe 10 for me. I don't know. So
yeah,
you guys call me Camilla.
I know. I was like, did I say your name right? Camilla? Okay. So shout out to Mike Alton too, who was here. So welcome. Nice to have you here, friend. He was like, I want to be here for the very last show. I might have to sneak out from a meeting.
Profile picture.
Yeah.
It's nice to see you.
He probably like ducked out of a meeting, and Anna Gill is here too.
Hi,
so,
Anna.
Shelly, let's talk about YouTube Shorts because as you and I were chatting, I was like, is this just another like TikTok, Instagram knockoff thing? Like, should I really be paying attention to it? Tell me about it. What are YouTube
Okay.
Shorts?
Let's talk about YouTube Shorts because I feel like a lot of people have these ideas of what it is and what it isn't. So let's talk a little bit about it, right? Or just have no idea. Everywhere I go, especially in Clubhouse rooms, it's always the number one topic that comes up is I've heard about this thing Shorts and what is it and what's going on. So a little background here. So TikTok, which is absolutely the most popular app in the App Store and like worldwide, it was for a time and still is now banned in India. And India is the second largest marketplace of all like users, besides pretty much us. And so us in Canada, right? So if you're thinking about this, you have a huge portion of creators that were also cut off. What was also already in the works is basically a competitive portion of YouTube, which was focusing on short form vertical video. Because if you look at a lot of the metrics and data, one, we already know that people holding their phone most of the time are going to be holding it in an up and down orientation. And a majority of the time, even when on a video site, they're still going to be holding it up and down, which is interesting because what it encourages is the scrolling with the thumb. You're reading comments, you're looking at the next video. So once we actually started seeing, and you can also see data where it says vertical videos also perform better in advertisements, convert more revenue, and have a lower cost per acquisition and click. So if you take all of these people who are now displaced from India, can't create, all of a sudden India creators can now go into creating shorts on YouTube. So what it essentially is at the end of the day, short form, vertical video, under 60 seconds. Okay. So you can go over 60 seconds. It just won't be classified as a short. Now, one thing that YouTube has not done very well, and stop me if I just word vomit too much at you and you're like, wait, I have a question. It's totally fine. One thing YouTube has done terribly is actually roll this out with any kind of clarity and explanation. Okay, so what you see now, it was in beta for a very long time. So if you went inside of the YouTube app and went to the plus button as if you were going to upload a video, there was for some people a little extra line that said create a short flag beta. And so what that was the in-app experience where you could either upload a 15-second video or you could create something using an in-camera recording, such as you would if you were creating like an Instagram story. So you could do that up to 15 seconds and then you could upload it. Now, when you're in the app, it only allows you to put a title and then set its like public whatever. So a lot of people will ask, do I need to do a thumbnail? Do we need to do tags? Should I do a description because there's no room to do it there? You would have to then switch into Studio and then go add in all of those things if you wanted to do that. Now,
can you start in Studio first and then?
No.
Oh, so it needs to start off on your phone first.
You need to start off on, well, you can go into Studio and upload a video there. Yes, you could do that as well. Like if you were in Studio on your desktop computer and you wanted to, yes, you can upload a vertical video there as well.
Okay,
yes.
got it.
But there's going to be a couple things you cannot do if you do it from there as opposed to starting on your phone. So one of those things is access a certain amount of music. And this is like copyright music. So popular music. And the thing is now they've included the ability to upload up to 60 seconds. So a lot of people don't know, it's kind of a hidden thing, but if you see it, it will go to 15 seconds. And if you click on the 15, it will go to 60 seconds. So you can do that. And even if you add a song, it still only gives you a 15-second snippet. Now, here is like a weird thing, okay? There was a big misunderstanding on, can I monetize shorts or not? It used to be, I know, right? Whew. This is a lot. We're getting through a lot. People.
I'm like, wow. I just like unlocked. I said, what are YouTube shorts? And
I'm like, here comes the flood. Here comes the flood, right?
Yeah.
If you upload and you do not use the music that is in the app library, you used to be able to, if people watched your short video from your homepage and not when scrolling through the short shelf, right? So you used to be scrolling on YouTube and you might come across a horizontal thing of like shorts or stories from creators. Now they've subsequently moved those shorts sometimes to a separate tab in your YouTube app and it says shorts in there. And then you'll just see a whole bunch and you're just meant to scroll vertically. If you have views from there, those do not count towards like monetization. If someone came to your homepage channel and watched it from there, it would count towards monetization. So you also started to see some people saying, but I'm getting monetized on shorts. What's up with that? It was where the views were coming from. And you could also Oh no, we're just getting started. When
I was
you
like, that
also
opens up a whole can of worms because then I would know as a content creator, like, where's my stuff popping up and how do I make sure that it pops up to where it needs to be in order to get monetized? Yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. So when you go back and look in your analytics, you would also very commonly see a graph that would look like of your views would start to look like this. It would hit a huge spike like this, and then it would kind of drop off really rapidly. And that's when you knew that your video had been picked up in the shorts shelf. So yeah, you'll see this view velocity just go like skyrocket and then it will just drop. But here's the thing is any views that came from while you were in the short shelf, they would not count towards your 1,000 hours that you needed to get monetized. They would not count for getting monetized, like any of those views, right? And then even weirder was now if you used any of the music from inside of the shorts library, now you cannot monetize at all. Does not matter where those views come from. So,
Okay,
like I said, if you're
I
confused now, it just gets worse. And YouTube has done a very poor job at telling people about this.
but that's the nice thing about having content creators like you who can lay it all out there for the layperson like me, where I'm like, wow, there's so much to just learn from all of this. So like when's your YouTube Shorts for Dummies book coming out? Because I feel like that needs to be out like
Well, and
hello
here's the things.
universe.
I actually did a entire live stream about it on my Shelly Saves a Day channel if you wanted to check that out. And then kind of what we're talking about today, I was like, you know what? A lot of people may not want to sit through an entire class about this as a live stream because there's sometimes that audience interaction, you're talking and a lot of people want go 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 and they want it now, right? So I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna run an experiment. I'm gonna run 20 shorts on shorts. So I took all of those like questions that I was kind of answering during that live stream or during that video. I broke them down into 60 seconds or less chunks. I threw those videos on Pinterest, on Instagram story or reels. I threw it on TikTok. I put it everywhere. And then I put them as shorts as well on my vertical video channel. And I was like, this is Shorts on Shorts, a series about how to learn about YouTube Shorts. And just as an experiment, right? So I have a 20-minute video. I've got 20, 25 of these 60 seconds or less shorts about shorts. So that's one way of now I have this one piece of content that was a live stream and then I turned it into tons and tons of content that I put repurposed everywhere, right? So that's kind of
The fact that,
okay.
yeah, I was like, that's amazing. The fact that you could say shorts and shorts so many times without mucking it up, I'm like, girl, you go. That's
Well,
absolutely
one thing is
amazing.
I said this is, shorts on short series, and then I just took that same clip and I shoved it in the front of every single video, and then
So
I
smart.
went to the tip. But also, the weird thing is, if you use a song that has, like, let's say your music that you created in an Instagram reel or a TikTok, you take that same video and you put it as a YouTube short, you can still be subject to copyright up to strike. So the claim up to strike, you can get a strike for using music from these other services. However, if you use music and upload it through the in-app experience and then find and search for that same song in their library and then
As
attach
a,
it, yep, they will not. It will just say from the YouTube Shorts, like music library, you won't get monetized for it, but you also can't get dinged for any copyright claims or copyright strikes. So there have been times that I will record something and then I'll just find the same song in the YouTube music library, attach that song, and just let it go from there. So, right? If you
I
want to
feel like that
repurpose,
was
it's the
a
same
big,
song.
huge tip for sure. I mean, that's awesome. Yeah. So Anjum here is saying, note to self, don't use copyright music.
No,
And
do not.
if you want to be smart about it, if you want to have Shelly save the day, right? Basically go ahead and find out what track it is that you want to use, see if it's already in the short library, and then pretty much go for that. So
And there are times too, I'll use a different song because the song that I started with in TikTok or Instagram Reels isn't there or isn't available. And so, also keep that in mind. Sometimes when you're recording, I will actually record no music. And so sometimes I'll use Ecamm, especially if I want to use this setup versus my phone. I will use Ecamm and change the orientation to a 9:16 so you can record. So you can just slice right down the middle and then have a file that's already vertical. Or if you're recording in a normal, you can go into an editing program like InShot or something and then just kind of stretch it and take what you need. But when it also comes to YouTube Shorts, they have created something. It's kind of like the TikTok Creator Fund. This is new. They just announced this a few days ago. And it's basically like a creator fund for people using shorts. They're reaching out to select people, people who've had lots of views, and they're distributing like $100 million to creators, even creators who were not previously part of the YouTube Partner Program. So they're taking that money and they're starting to contact people and distribute it, kind of like Snapchat did, kind of like TikTok is doing. So it's a really exciting time because it means that YouTube is recognizing that people should get paid or, can get monetized on shorts, which is not a thing that they previously were really doing. So that's a lot on shorts. I would love to know what questions you have there's also a blog, which is rare for YouTube to do. They're putting out every 2 weeks. I actually met the person who's writing the blogs in Clubhouse Room. We were talking about shorts and she just came in. She's like, I just came in to listen because I write that blog. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And so that was a really fun conversation. But in, I think, the live stream where I was talking about it, I linked down to it. And they release that, like I said, every 2 weeks. And they're trying to keep people somewhat updated, but most people don't even know that the blog exists. So if you want to check that out. Yeah.
Here's the first question that I have about YouTube Shorts. So I know in Instagram stories, if you have X amount of followers, you could link to an external link, or if you don't have enough followers, you can link to an IGTV. Is that something else that you can do in YouTube Shorts where you can link to your channel or to a video, or is it just the short itself?
Well, keep in mind, it depends on also where people are viewing it. So if people come and view it from your homepage, they're going to see everything from the thumbs up and the comments and the and your description box that may have links to subscribe or external links to something you're talking about in the video, right? So that's absolutely available. When you're scrolling through the shelf, though, it's really just kind of like a like, a dislike, and a comment. So you don't really see the description unless you kind of click into some extra places and then you kind of see it come up. So it's not as easy when people are scrolling, but it's still available.
Got it. Cool, cool, cool. And P.S. by the way, I'm sorry, your name didn't show up. It just says Facebook user, but it says Shelly has saved my day at least a couple of times so far. So you've got some love in the comments.
Whoever that Facebook user is, make sure you grant RESTREAM the privacy thing so that we can actually see your name.
I know, right? That would be nice.
Yeah.
That would be nice. So let's talk more about using shorts as live streamers, because so many of us, like even like right now, obviously we're doing this in landscape. How would we do this for shorts, or just not? If you're just like, hey, if your videos are just strictly horizontal, like don't even mess with it. What's your advice?
Okay, there's a couple of ways that you can handle this. First of all, so for us, since we're basically side by side, if you were using an editor, what you could do is you could basically split us down in the middle and then place us on top and bottom. And you could just repurpose that way in a different, basically changing the orientation of it. And you could do that inside of something like InShot is really easy to do that. Splice, you could do it. You could have like a really beautiful graphic that's a 9:16 with the name of your show and maybe your contact information, maybe your channel name, maybe a space to have your captions, and then just shove us in the middle of it, right? And then have all of the pretty stuff on top and bottom. So that's just another way to do it. Especially if you got overlays and graphics and things that you don't want to lose, then that's a really easy way to do it as well.
Do you have recommendations? Because I have done like the 9:16, because in Descript, it makes it so easy. That's what I use for repurposing the live stream videos. But I always have to be mindful of, when I'm creating that vertical video, the placement of where I put the text overlays, because it might cover the comments that come up on screen. And so if I'm like, oh yeah, then go here, and it's like, you can't see it because when they're playing it, it doesn't show. Are there limitations just like that on YouTube Shorts, where it's like, make sure you don't put it over here, because then otherwise you're covering your profile name or all that jazz?
Well, one thing about vertical video, if you're not in the shorts shelf and you're actually just viewing it in someone's homepage, or you click on someone's video and it is vertical, there's actually a tiny bit on top and bottom that actually gets cut off, like very top, very bottom. And a lot of people don't know you actually have to. There's two expands. There's one that takes it from like this way, like a totally landscape with everything, and then you kind of give it a little thumb up, and then it expands to almost like the 4:5, or it's like larger, but it still has a tiny bit at the bottom. And then a lot of people don't know, if you want to actually see everything, you have to do that again. And then you get the whole 9:16. So if I was making content, I would always make sure absolutely nothing at the very tippy top and nothing at the very very bottom. But also when you're looking for stuff in a preview, kind of like similar when you keep in mind those size dimensions for Instagram, IG, Reels, you've got the 1x1 grid and you've got the 4x5 that shows in preview until you click into your story and then you see, or the reel, and then you see the whole 9x16, right? So if you think about those kind of dimensions, as long as you're staying within that 4x5, if you're going to place any text, kind of have it in that area, you're still going to see it most of the time when you're in kind of any of that viewing from the homepage.
Everything that you just described about how a short can appear in different destinations is pure gold, because I can't tell you how many times I'll get an email from a client. It says like, it's cut off. And I'm like, well, where are you looking at? Because if you're looking at it on preview, it's going to look different when you actually click into it and all the different things. And so rather than sending it back to the creative team, like, I need you to redo this, it's like, it's just a user experience. In fact, I actually had a client who had reached out to me. He's like, these captions are kind of distracting. And I was like, that's a user thing on you. You could just
hit the CC on the screen, didn't you? You did that, didn't you?
Yeah. I was just like, how do I say this in a very nice way? All right, cool. So if you guys are just tuning in, we're talking about YouTube Shorts and easy YouTube short ideas that live streamers like us can repurpose. I absolutely love them that you already just shared about the vertical video, and even just taking this video, chopping it up. I could put you on top because you have the logo on your right pretty much, and then I could be on the bottom and it would work out completely fine. So sorry, I laughed because Michael was like, the captions.
Oh, the captions. Yeah.
I find that to be absolutely brilliant, super helpful. We've already covered monetization, friends. So if you're just coming in really late, if you still have questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments, because I'm telling you, she knows everything that there is to know about YouTube Shorts.
Not everything, but I'm happy to try and answer questions that you have, because I will say,
know more than me. Because when I slid into the DMs and I was like, hey, let's talk about YouTube Shorts, because I've talked about so much about different ways that you could repurpose video, but I knew that YouTube Shorts was a thing. And I was like, who knows this? Because when I tried to Google it, I was like, oh, this isn't as ideal as I hoped it would be, or as user intuitive. And sometimes it's just so helpful to have someone like you where it's like, can you just lay it on me?
Yes, absolutely. I'll lay it on y'all, on all of y'all.
Cool. All right. So here's another question for you then is, when you're repurposing your live stream on Shorts, what are some tips for that? Because you said your Shorts on Shorts, you would take each question and then you would limit it to that. Are there certain things that work well for live streamers, like content-wise for Shorts, like quick, snappy? Don't try to do a screen share because it might look funky in a short. Like, what are your thoughts?
It might not look funky if you were teaching someone how to do something like create an Instagram story special effect, because if anything, they would like it because of the fact that it fills up the entire phone screen and all of a sudden they get to see the size of the buttons kind of pretty much in real time size. And so if you think about that, if you think about you want to maintain eye contact, then what you're going to have to do is probably throw yourself as a picture-in-picture as an overlay on top of the screen recording. So you probably want to think, where could I be placed so that I'm not blocking what's happening on screen? But if you still want to converse with your audience, how would you do that? So in some instances, a screen recording is totally fine. With a voiceover, totally good. Things that also work well are, if you have a weekly series, you could actually come on and almost do like hey, we're going to be talking about YouTube Shorts, and here's one thing you may not have known about it. And if you want to learn 5 more, make sure you check into this live stream. Or, you also kind of want to do it as something where the video stands on its own, but if it can entice people to watch more. So if you think about that, like if you're doing a top 10 beauty lipsticks, whatever product, you can say like, this is my absolute worst and this is the absolute like middle. And if you want to see the number 1, make sure you check out this video or something like that. So
oh my gosh, that comes out so flawlessly from you. My goodness.
No, I was reaching. I was grasping at straws there. But I'm saying if you think about it, you still have like something that was not great, something that is good, and then I'm intrigued by the rest of the list. I want to see what's on this list. So I want to come over here. It's not always the best to do like oh guys, this Friday I'm doing this thing, so come check it out, because you don't know when someone is actually going to come across that short. So if it's not timely in that weird way, you don't want to maybe pitch that as your short. So you may want to think of it as something that is like pretty much evergreen. It's always going to be this thing existed, or I have a video editing tutorial coming out. So what I'm going to do is demonstrate the trick that I'm going to show you and say like, hey, have you ever seen something like this? Do the trick and then say, if you want to learn how I did this, I'm going to teach it to you. Just make sure you click on my profile picture right here so you can come over and watch the tutorial. So something like that is an appropriate way to use a short to drive people to a different video, but it's not like, hey guys, this Saturday, make sure you check out this, because by the time they see that video, it's probably going to be long gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, this is why you're the vertical video vixen. I mean, everything that you just said, I was like, that in a box of just like fill in the blank templates is absolute gold. I think that's super, super duper helpful to
I mean, it
have.
happens for everything. So if you think about it, so someone in real estate is like, the number one mistake you're making when you are putting in multiple offers in a house or something like that is X. But if you want to know how to avoid this and make sure that your bid looks most attractive, make sure you check out this YouTube video, or make sure you check out my video where I talk all about affordable housing in the Louisiana marketplace or whatever else it is. So it's always a way to kind of still give information, yet people like want to know more. So you can do this in any single industry, any single vertical.
I love that. So on YouTube, I know that you could organize your videos by specific playlists and even on sections when they land on your channel. Can you do the same thing with shorts where they could just binge watch from one short to the other that's yours? Because I know sometimes when I discover things on Instagram, the Explorer, right, it'll take me to other random videos. But can you set it so that it's all your content, your shorts?
Yes. So one thing you can do is if you go to the desktop version of YouTube and then customize your homepage, one of the playlists that you can select is basically all of your short videos. I would recommend that you always do that, set that up. And here's the thing is most of the time that is not visible unless you're on phone and mobile version of your channel. It's really weird. So you can also create a playlist, shove all of your shorts in it, tag it in that playlist, and also shove it up there if you wanted to. So there's two different ways if you, I'm just saying. So now you can go to someone's homepage and then see, I think they've just updated it in the last week or two. So now you can actually see a row of their short videos, maybe on desktop, because before it was only visible on mobile. So you had to go to desktop, which is just a stupid way to do this. You had to do it on desktop so that it could show up for mobile. And you couldn't change it on mobile. Yeah, exactly. It's a head scratcher. It's like, what? Why? Why would you do this?
Here's another question then. For YouTube Shorts, and I forgive me because I'm always going to be comparing it to Instagram because that's basically where I consume most of my content. And I'm asking you these questions because I don't know. I know nothing about YouTube Shorts. So I know on Instagram, they will auto create captions for your videos. Now, even for your stories, does the same thing happen on YouTube Shorts?
It's not the same because now it used to be that you could only have those on-screen captions when you use like threads or, you know, like clips or something like that, and then uploaded it. Now they have it now built into, you know, you can hit it and it will auto-generate and it'll have the ones on screen, the pretty ones. YouTube doesn't really have that. They have the auto-generated captions, you know, when you hit the caption button and you see they're not pretty, they're just as they are. So it will have that, but it won't necessarily have the pretty ones.
Got it.
Yeah.
So would your recommendation be on YouTube Shorts if you wanted to do your own burned in captions? Should you do that just knowing the vertical video placement of where icons are and gradients and whatnot?
Could. Here's the thing though, unlike Instagram stories or Facebook or something like that, people are not only scrolling for a video, but for other things. And they happen to come across the video, it auto plays most of the time without sound, right? But on YouTube, most of the time when they're scrolling through videos, they're already on a video site looking for videos. So while burning captions are absolutely fantastic and great and stuff like that, if it interferes with the stuff that you already have going on in the video, whether that's on screen, animated overlays or different things like that, it's really going to be more of a case-by-case judgment call on whether or not you want to have that in there. And a lot of people like to have it because something moving around and creating more visual interest on the screen can actually be a really big benefit. So it's not something that it's like absolutely mandatory like it is on Facebook or Instagram because of the amount of people that watch without volume turned on, but it's an added bonus / benefit as long as it's not a deterrent from what you're usually having on screen.
That's so cool. I'm learning so much from you, but I also, when I put you on full screen, I admired your background, your studio. I was like, look at all of that. Because I'm here and I'm like covering it, but you guys, look at all this cool stuff that she has there. I was reading your board. I saw the on air.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm so sorry for covering it, but your studio looks so nice.
Oh, thank you. It's taken a while to get to that.
I think over the years, all content creators, the first time you see our studios, it's always evolving and changing. And that's a good question for you too, is that when you do your YouTube shorts, do you try to use the same branding or studio look and feel as your standard live stream and the other videos that you create? Or you just like take them out like this is a different angle of my studio?
It depends. If I was doing that shorts on shorts, it was exactly the same, just sliced down the middle. But if it's something else, like right now, I'm just doing a series for fun. It's called like 100 Days of Makeup. So like 100 before and afters of makeup on a separate beauty channel. And so I do that in a separate background than I would normally hear. Or I might take people outside, and it's a little bit more freedom, I think, with shorts because you can be anywhere. It's a very short amount of time to capture someone's attention. But there is something nice also about the familiar of, a lot of people who know me know this background. So I think it's giving you the freedom to do whatever you want. I've done both, I will say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a shout out from the crew saying, love that bling in the background. I know, I was looking at it too. I was like, how do you make that stay up there? That's so cool. Here's a question for
command
you.
hooks. Command hooks.
Oh,
So
command hooks?
these are blackout curtains on command hooks because they're just stuck to the wall. So the curtains have like the little rings at the top. So I put the rings on the command hooks, and then I drop the fairy lights or whatever else, and they're also sitting on the command hooks. So it's all on command hooks.
See, we're giving you the inside scoop of what goes
Yeah.
on with the studios. So here's a question for you as you take a sip. It's YouTube Shorts for a new launch of a product, ideas or thoughts. Thank you so much, Andrew, for asking this question because we've talked about repurposing live streams, taking questions. How would you use that same format and apply it to a product launch? What would your
Tell me what the product
suggestion
is.
be?
That would be definitely helpful. But if you think of something that's almost like an infomercial, you could go very campy with the way that you're kind of doing it. Be like, have you ever done this? And then, like funny, whatever. And then you're like, I've got something that will fix that or something. Or you could go very mysterious and be like, something new is coming. Check it out over here. Right. Or you can do, does Restream go to IG? Only if you do bad things like sign up through Yellow Duck or something or whatever else it is, which is a violation of terms of service. So technically, yes, no, but yes. In
Yeah,
work way.
sometimes when I get those questions too, I'm like, you could slide into my DMs and ask me, but I'm not gonna say it on air,
Yeah, I'm like,
because
well,
it's
I
one of
just
those.
said it. Oops.
No, you're totally fine. But I understood your hesitation for that, right? Because it's always this, but be forewarned.
Yeah. Be forewarned.
Be forewarned, because other people will tell you whatever it is that they want to tell you because it worked for them, but they don't give you that word of caution. And I
And
think
like
for us,
technically, yes. Gray area on like everything else. Okay, so
yeah, very,
so
very true.
what is a UFO direct? UFO U direct. I don't know what
I
that
have
is.
no,
I don't know
oh,
what that is.
I could type that in. I
Hi,
could type that in.
Fulgens. I see you from Facebook. It's nice to see you. I see you going live over there a lot. But it's going to be whatever the product is. If you think about it, if there's still something that's going to be entertaining, or it's going to be education, or it's just going to be like intriguing in some way, that's how you want to position the introduction of your product. It's either solving some sort of problem or it's creating mystery around the type of product. So it's office furniture. So if you say something like basically, we're all working from home right now, right? And be like, does your office furniture need an upgrade? Basically, and you show someone with like the folding IKEA chair, which is just awful, and be like, your butt is going to be thanking you for blank type product, and you show them how cool it is. And then you say a couple of the top 3 points, like ergonomic and fits inside of any office, has rolling things so that blah, blah, blah. Make sure you check this out. It's now available. If you want more information about it, come over here to my channel and check out all of this. So it's kind of like what can you tell them in 60 seconds or less? 30 seconds is even better, because then if it's 30 seconds or less, you can take that same thing, stick it up on, your IG Reels, stick it up on TikTok, stick it up on like everywhere that you can think of it. A lot of the time, 30 seconds and less is going to be a good time frame to go ahead and like shove that thing everywhere, including
Sure.
Pinterest stories. So
that's another show right there. And P.S.
you
by
think
the way,
about
Andrew,
Pinterest stories, they have searchable tags over there. So office furniture, chairs, whatever else it is, have that, have a nice little cover, throw that up now on the newly launched. They were story pins. Now they're idea pins, and they're doing things over there. You can do up to 10 in a carousel, minute-long videos, vertical as well. So if you wanted to shove that over there, have it be under office furniture, office chairs, office whatever, and then have a link directly to the website to buy that chair, because you can link out to places on Pinterest.
I love that. Andrew, P.S. by the way, if you're looking for a spokesperson, I mean, she pretty much just laid it all out for you, you know? So if you still have questions, she's definitely a person to reach out to. He says, thank you. Yeah, I
You're
know,
welcome.
dude. See, this is what happens when you show up live. You get to tap into the amazing brain cells of our special guests. So for those of you that are just tuning in, we're talking about YouTube Shorts, especially ways that live streamers can leverage that to build and grow their audience. We've talked about different formats, how editing ideas, how to take FAQs, turn them into 1 minute or 60-second videos. What do you prefer? 1 minute or 60 seconds? What's
Well, and here's the thing is I would always caution people, like if you're at 59 point whatever seconds, bring it down to a 58 just to make sure, because every once in a while when it like rounds up, as it sometimes tends to do, on like TikTok or
it's like a
whatever,
little
you don't want to show up as this like 1 minute or 1 minute 01, and then it's not technically a short because it's not going to show up in the short shelf. It'll be on your channel, sure, but it won't be in the shorts shelf, hopefully, which is where you're trying to aim to get to. So just give yourself a couple of seconds, shave it off, call it good.
That's a good question. So how about this then? So are there certain tips and tricks to make sure that you appear on the shelf? Like, is there a certain criteria that the algorithm or whoever is researching the content that's just like,
Oh,
hey,
wow.
this would be perfect?
Well, one thing, especially for everyone who didn't have the in-camera app experience, they were always recommending that you use hashtag shorts in your title and your description.
Oh,
Absolutely, I would still recommend that people do that now. In fact, there have been some people experimenting with throwing in a second hashtag in the title itself, such as like TikTok or fails or makeup, and I'm trying that out too just to see. But you definitely want the hashtag shorts because there are bots and crawlers looking for those and videos that still meet the criteria, even if they haven't used hashtag shorts, and that's going to be vertical, under 60 seconds, blah, 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 right? So they are still looking for those videos, but help out the bots by putting the hashtag shorts in the title and or description. And it can help get you into the shelf. But one thing that's weird about it is it can take 48 hours. It can take, a few days, 4 days later, and all of a sudden it pops off. And then all of a sudden it's there for 3 days and then, or 1 day, and then it drops off. So if
huh.
you think about that, it's a lot about the behavior of the people who are looking at your video. If they're not watching it, if they're not interested in it, if they're thumbsing it down, whatever else it is, you want to first make sure that you have a good, enticing video. Maybe there's some sort of on-screen change or something that's happening every 5 seconds, something that's still visually interesting. If it's just talking head for 60 seconds straight, that's not very exciting. So keep the intention of grabbing the attention of the viewer in mind and keeping their attention for as long as the video is. Just because you can do 60 seconds, if you only have 15 seconds worth of good material, then just make your video 15 seconds and call it good.
If you don't have any B-roll or slow-mo. Okay, so gosh, that was such a good question. Come back, come back, come back. Um, the question that I had for you for the YouTube shorts, oh my goodness, it was just right there. And then
It's coming back. I can
I
feel it.
know, coming back. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay.
There it is. There it is.
So we were talking about the shelf life of a short, right? Do you find that people, because when you repurpose content, like for me, like for the blog, like this show will absolutely have a blog recap, 3 1-minute videos that I could repurpose everywhere. Do you find that people continue to promote their YouTube shorts after it's already been published?
As
Or is that not
in
a
me
thing?
creator or
As a
sorry.
creator. So, like, for example, one thing that I learned from Peggy Fitzpatrick, who is all about Pinterest, right? And she's all
Mhm.
about getting those views on Pinterest, is she would create the pin and then on Twitter, she would use something like Agora Pulse to continually promote that. And it would always
Yeah.
drive back to the pin. And because Pinterest would see, like, hey, people are still looking at this or they're still clicking at this, it would still drive impressions and really bump up her analytics. Is that something that people do with YouTube Shorts? Or even thought of?
I mean, you can, but I haven't seen people continually always make the same reference to the same short to keep coming back to it. Because a lot of the time, the short itself, sometimes people are using it to drive traffic to longer videos on their YouTube channel. So it's like this weird vicious circle as well. So it's not always about the short that's the most important. So some people may like use their short and like drive people to it, but it's also more like, hey, I put the short on YouTube Shorts, but I'm also putting it on like Pinterest and Instagram and whatever. So you might see some person, even though it's the same 30-second clip, actually then just like promoting one of those others. You know what I mean? Like in this cycle, maybe like Monday, it's the Pinterest one and I put that on my Twitter. And then Tuesday, it's the Instagram Reels one. And I put that, you know, like whatever. So I see more people doing something like that than because maybe one of those platforms is where your person is. So if you just keep continually pushing the YouTube short one, but all of your people are following you or from Pinterest, then it doesn't really matter to them that you push that short 6 times, you know?
Got it. Cool. Here's a question from Johnny Bean. Hey, Johnny. It's so nice to see you here.
Hey, Johnny.
Johnny's saying, just tuned in. Did you talk about how people can use your shorts in their shorts? Can't figure that out, or is it just not available yet? Any insight on that?
Yeah, so basically it's kind of like a remix or sample type of content. It's really weird. Again, YouTube has done a really piss poor job of telling people how to do this because most people are actually opted into this and not opted out of it. It's a weird thing, but you can't actually see it until you go to the desktop studio version of your video, and then in there's a checkbox. There's 2 checkboxes that are hidden. One is notify my subscribers of this video. So if you didn't know, you have a 24-hour limit with 3 notifications maxed out for letting people know about your videos, the ones that are opted in. And not always, because YouTube has said only 10% of the time they actually notify people who are opted in. Just keep that in mind. If you wanted to release a whole bunch of shorts at the same time and you didn't want to burn through all of your notifications, what you could do is uncheck the box that says notify people that I'm releasing this video. So anyone who comes to your main channel page is going to see that video, but they're not getting a notification for it, which is good if you release 7 and you don't want to ping them continually. Plus you have a new video going up within 24 hours and you do want people to know about that one. So that's the first box. The second box is going to be the allow people to reuse and sample my content. So I believe that they're testing this similar to like a TikTok, like in Remix is on Instagram Reels. This is where people can take a small snippet of yours and then use it into their shorts as well. They have been very tight-lipped on whether or not like who gets the credit for some of these views because you're using content from someone else's video. And they've also been very tight-lipped and done a very bad job of letting people know that this box exists, because if you don't want people to do this, you got to make sure you go in there and uncheck the box. Right now, because it's such a new feature, I have mine on because I want to see what does the notification system look like? What does it actually mean in terms of views? What does it do for traffic? So I want to experiment, but it is a button that exists that not a lot of people know about.
Got it. See, I love it when you guys ask these questions because I'm learning just like you. And so having said that, here's another good one from Todd Dixon. And her question is, my shorts are doing so much better than regular horizontal videos. Is it okay to focus 100% on shorts as my main YouTube content, or do you recommend a mix of content type on YouTube? I guess it depends on your goals. Like, what would you say?
Exactly. I would say it depends. The answer is always it depends. And it's complicated. It depends and it's complicated because there are people out there who have created shorts only channels. But what happens when you want to then convert those people into longer form content? Are people going to rebel against that because all of a sudden you have 100 videos that are shorts and now you're trying to shove a 15-minute video in their face? They may not like that, right? And it's all an experiment because in the past, it was even when people were getting tons of views on those and even possibly getting the subscribers count towards hitting monetization goals. So we had people getting 100,000 subscribers from shorts, but none of the watch time while in the shorts shelf was counting towards monetization. So you had people with all these subscribers can't make any money, can't hit the monetization requirements to actually get monetized either. So all of a sudden, now that they're doing this TikTok creator fund as well, they're starting to mitigate some of the, I want to be able to make money on it. But it also comes down to what is the purpose of your channel. If it's to drive people to some sort of business, then maybe the monetization piece isn't as important as making very short, awesome commercials that you can repurpose and use elsewhere. Is it about growing your subscriber base? Is it about something else? So just keeping that in mind, it depends. Also, if you're a documentary channel that only does 2-hour-long travel vlogs all the time, are people going to watch 15-second snippets? Maybe, maybe not. Or if it's just wildly variant from whatever your content is, regardless of the time difference, that's when you start to think, I should have a different channel just for this type of content.
Ah, that's interesting. I didn't even take that in consideration of like building out different channels. See, I'm such a noob when it, when it comes to YouTube.
Okay.
And then I talk to content creators like you. They're like, I have one channel that focuses on this and another channel that focuses on that. And I love that because for someone like me, it's a great opportunity to learn because I've only played around really with playlists, right? I'm like, hey, this is Digital Confetti. This is Lights Camera Live. This is Showrunner Secrets from the Set, right? And just the idea of like trying to launch like a new channel and do all the things, it's like, yeah, y'all got some time. So,
well, sometimes if you're like specifically known for some sort of niche, so let's say it's makeup and your audience is not interested in you doing motorcycle repair, but you're really excited about it, it's probably a better idea for you because the mix between people who love makeup and people who love motorcycles is probably not that much overlap. So it might be better for you to find an audience that really loves motorcycles and an audience that really loves makeup. And so for you to have a separate channel, then it's probably making more sense. Otherwise, you could ruin a main channel of makeup by throwing in all these motorcycle videos that people don't really care about. Because once you start throwing in videos people don't care about, and then YouTube sees like, hey, we shoved this video in front of subscribers. They didn't really like it. They didn't come back. Maybe you're not making good videos or whatever else it is, right? Or the people coming in for motorcycles are like, why is everything else about makeup? I don't want makeup. So they bounce, right? And YouTube doesn't like that either. So it might actually appease you to have two separate audiences, to have two separate channels. And it also gives you a little bit more freedom because you're like, God, if I have to talk about lipstick one more day instead of carburetors, right? Then you want to have the freedom to be like, well, I want to talk about carburetors today. So we're going to go over here to this other channel and just be that. So,
yeah. And I think that's the part where for me, it's like when you're creating content, obviously you want to be consistent and whatnot. And so having multiple channels, I'm like, oh my God, now it's like multiple deadlines. and for me, I'm just like, man, that doesn't sound fun. But I love that idea. I was also envisioning just like a makeup and motorcycles brand. Like that would be so cool. Like I would, I just this hot person just on a motorcycle putting on some lip gloss.
maybe,
like, hey,
yeah.
That would be
like
amazing.
every single time is a montage of very Charlie's Angels when they rip off the helmet and then they do the hair like in slow motion with like the perfectly done face.
Challenge accepted. I think you and I should do this. We need someone to sponsor this commercial right now.
Motorcycles and makeup.
Sure.
Yes.
That's right. So, hey, if you guys are just tuning in, we're obviously talking about YouTube Shorts for live streamers, and Shelly has been crushing it. She's been sharing like all the different things that you can possibly do when it comes to all of these wonderful things with YouTube Shorts, ideas, formatting, captions, playlists, bundling your content, all of this. Yes, even Mike Alton in the comments is like, yes. So tell them a little bit more about what it is that you do because you have Vertical Video Marketing Academy. You know what? I think that does deal with like motorcycles because just looking at the acronym looks like vroom,
vroom, vroom. I know. So this is, like we were just talking about, one of my other channels because it's just kind of a fun place to have other content. This Vertical Video channel it's all vertical videos except for one where I was talking, it was a conference talk. And so I just put it up here. So I was talking about why, maybe video matters or why it's important. So I was like, I think it's good information. This will be the one video that is in landscape. But this is where you come if you want to learn about different things about making vertical video and like maybe some of the software you would use or different tricks and tips and stuff like that about vertical. I have a program called Vertical Video Marketing Academy for brands and businesses who actually want to use video. So like the office example, for someone who has maybe a business that wants to run through like a 90-day boot camp or basically learn how to use vertical video to basically make mini commercials or, be distributed across multiple platforms. So that's kind of what that is. And then my main channel is teaching YouTube and teaching video editing. So that's what I do on my main channel.
You are so talented.
Oh, I even created a course. I don't know if I told you that, right? It's called iMovie Made Easy because a lot of people get started for free with iMovie. So I have an entire, I think it's like 7 hours of content that I've recorded. I give you video clips. We actually learn how to edit a video together. I teach you all kinds of tips and tricks in it as well on that, including if you didn't know, there are ways to edit vertical videos inside of iMovie, which people don't know about. So absolutely, I'm there.
And this is why Shelly is here. And P.S., by the way, we've got a new New viewer tuning in, Devin is saying, I'm late, but this is good so far. I have to watch. Yeah, you do have to watch the
Hey,
replay. Let
Devin.
me tell you, we've thrown down so much. You shared so much content. What I love about you is that you're always willing to experiment, right? This willingness to experiment, it just shines through in all of the content that you create and the way that you just bounce off of these ideas. You're like, hey, I could do this and you could do this. And creating multiple channels, I'm just so inspired by you. Like, wow,
Oh,
look at
stop.
you
It's just
go,
unbridled, like, curiosity, ADHD. It's like, yeah, I can't walk the straight and narrow for too long.
Unbridled.
I'm just like shiny object syndrome all the time with squirrels. Like, ooh.
But that's cool. I love it when people take an idea, right? Because we always have ideas in our head and sometimes we talk ourselves out of it. And at one point in your life, you really have to decide, like, okay, let's take that idea that's in my head and let my heart do what it is that I want to do, even if it's just to have fun. And so
Mhm.
I like that you do that. And YouTube Shorts sounds like a really fun way to take a stab at it. Do you with your group and whatnot, your audience, have you ever done challenges to get people to create YouTube shorts?
You know what? I haven't. I have threatened physical violence apparently to some of my viewers. I'm like, if you don't do this, in the clubhouse room, I am doing this women of YouTube type room every week. So it's just a place where people can come ask ladies questions about YouTube, either about being ladies or asking ladies, audience. Because we have a lot of guys that come in there as well and ask questions about, from a female perspective, what do you think about something like this? So it's a really interesting room if you're ever interested in coming. But it's a really interesting room because you'll see a lot of the same people week after week after week being like, I want to start a YouTube channel. I want to start this. I want to do this. And I'm like, that's great, Susie. You've been here 5 weeks. I've seen nothing. Where are you at with this? So don't come back next week unless you're actually going to make a video. And so I actually threatened a few people and then they came back and were like, I did it. And I even celebrated. And I was like, this is the week Annie became a YouTuber, because until you hit the publish button, you are a YouTube viewer. You're not a YouTuber. And so we like to celebrate the wins, but we also threaten people weekly, apparently. So if you're into that, come hang out with us. I am the scary one. Everyone else is the handholdy. We love you so much. I will be like, I love you, but like, get your butt in gear. So
Yeah.
there's a
Some
nice mix
people,
of that in the room.
no, I totally get it. Yeah, because some people are comfortable in their comfort zone, and that's the danger, especially if you want to be a content creator, is you can't stay in your comfort zone because your comfort zone is
Yeah. It's
it's
not where the
that
growth
box.
is. And it's most of the time, it's like you're going to spend 6 months trying to make the perfect video, which, first of all, does not exist. You're going to go back 4 years later and be like, that is the bluest video I've ever seen. You can go back and look at mine and be like, girl, you know nothing about color balancing or whatever else it is. And I'm like, did you think that tungsten was just like a suggestion, a whisper of a hint? And so you go back and look at my videos and I'm like, oh my gosh. And back at the time, you think, oh, this looks pretty good, right? Years later,
Oh,
you're like,
girl.
oh, girl, what were you thinking? But it's so funny because I'm like, I could spend 6 months trying to do the perfect unboxing for the BoxyCharm March 2021 box. But by the time it comes out in like December, no one cares about that, about your perfect video. So it's more important that you put it out, it's ugly, you make the next one better. And then, you move on from there. So I'm like, you
For
can change
sure.
everything later, from the thumbnail to, like your titles, to your tags, to your description box. You will never be able to update the first date that you uploaded of like a video. You just can't. And you have to do it to get better. So
Here it is. It goes, oh, she scares me. Oh, and it's from Tenderheart. I feel like Tenderheart's like a Care Bear. Uh, since we've been talking about Clubhouse, so what is your Clubhouse handle?
I think it's Shelly Saves the Day over there, or Shelly Saves the, because sometimes they have character limits, so I think I'm Shelly Saves the on like Twitter, but like Shelly Saves the Day like everywhere else.
You
It's
want to check?
I'll go
And
look.
then I could
Yeah.
just blast it out thanks to Restream. Thank you,
I'm like,
Restream,
oh,
for
look.
allowing us to go live on multiple platforms. We've got audience members tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, and on LinkedIn.
Oh,
That's the
I
beauty of
lied.
it.
I'm Shelly Saves on Clubhouse.
Shelly Saves.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to write Shelly Saves.
I have a club on there too. It's called Vertical Video Enthusiasts. So if you ever want to join that, I think you'll get notified when I am going live. So
How often?
that room is every Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific time.
What was
And
it
so
called?
it's my club. You'll see it linked at the bottom of my profile. It's called Vertical Video Enthusiasts, but the room is called Ladies of YouTube, I believe it is, and that's every Thursday at 3. And then every Thursday I live stream on my channel at 5:30. So I
Got
usually
it.
go from one and to the other.
So is Thursdays like your content creator days?
It's just my live stream or live days. So, because I always do the Clubhouse room and then I always roll right into my live stream on Thursdays. It's called Triple T
See,
Thursdays for tips, tricks, and tutorials. So, you're invited. You're all invited. Come
it's
hang out
the
with us.
alliteration. This is how I
Yes.
knew that we were going to be friends. I was like, oh, I love this. Shelly Sensitive. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys, if you've loved everything that Shelly has had to share, I know I have. I know my team is going to be like writing probably like a 10,000 word blog post. Just letting you know, Liz, that's what's going to happen. Um, this has been an absolutely amazing experience. And again, you have all these different ways that you could connect with her. She's obviously has her channels, multiple channels. You could find her on Clubhouse. But if anything, Shelly, where would you say would be the best place to connect with you? And before you say that, here you go.
Wait, where we go? What? Let's see here. Where's the best place to connect with me? Sometimes I think Instagram is one of the best places just because of the DM feature. So that might be a good place to come find me. Yes. There you go.
There you go. Here's a question for you: is if you're restreaming, this is from Ta. Ta, you always ask like the best question. She says, if you're restreaming to multiple channels on YouTube, is there any risk for content duplication penalties? I would love to know your thoughts on this, since you and I have both used Restream before.
Yeah.
I have my own thoughts, but I'd love to hear what you have to say.
I've done it and I haven't gotten any of that. And I know that I don't know if they maybe treat live streams a little bit differently, because I've been involved in several where I was on a panel right before, I think it was Vid Summit, and they streamed it to both Daryl Eves' channel and TubeBuddy channel. And as far as I know, neither channel got any of the duplicate content. I've streamed erroneously and on purpose to multiple of my own YouTube channels before, and I've never gotten a content warning for that. I have gotten a content warning when I re-uploaded one of my videos. It was like a tour of something in Seattle, and then I uploaded on a personal vlog channel, and I got this video is already like in its entirety on another channel, and I pretty much got a copyright claim against myself. And I was like, allow in the back end, like, no big deal, it's okay. So yes, I've seen it in like pre-recorded videos. I have never seen it yet on a live stream, but that's been my experience.
Same thing. Yeah, I would say when I've done it for live streams, because I would see it pop up on the other channel, right, as an alert, because I have permission to stream on their channel. Like, their manager just knows to not give me a warning and not block me, right? Because I'd be like, hey, you're my brand partner. When did you do that? Introduce me to your manager.
I will say I once saw, I've gotten it a couple times on my own channel when I erroneously like set up an event in Restream, and then I once had set up an event previously in YouTube, and then I was trying to connect to it. So I was actually connecting to an event as well as like something that Restream had created. So I was going live twice on my own channel at the same time. So I'd gotten a warning in YouTube's backend saying like, hey, you're pretty much already going live or something like that. But like, it just existed twice on my channel, and I ended up going in and deleting the other one. So I have seen that as a warning once in the YouTube backend studio when I was going live. But otherwise, no, I've never seen it.
That's always interesng. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
I did want to say to Tenderheart over there.
Yeah,
you're a Care Bear with a very
back.
tender heart. So here's the thing I'm going to say. Just like when you go to like group fitness or something like that, there is the coach that is going to be like, breathe in your chakra, and like your aura is purple and it's beautiful and I love you. And then you've got the drill sergeant that is like, that's not even a push-up. Get up and do the real thing, right? So it's just that there's a coach out there for everyone, and I just happen to be more towards the drill sergeant side. But we have people in the group like Liz. She's kind of a mindset and motivational. She is the I can see your aura and it's beautiful type of person. So we have a balance in the room. I just usually when someone's like, I need someone to give me like a no filtered, but like, it's like, I always tell them, it's like, shut up, but with love. It's like, I hear you, I hear your excuses, but like, and when I'm like, we're just going to stop and we're just going to go do something. And so I'm the one that you come to when you're ready to have more of that no nonsense. I'm not going to hold your hand, but I am going to hold you accountable, but I'm going to cheerlead for you when you do the thing type person. So I'm not for everyone, and that's okay. And so if you have a tender heart and you're scared of me, I totally get that. I'm just saying, some people love me. Some people love me, but I'm not for everyone.
And that's good to know, right? That's good to know
Yeah.
because there's always content that's out there. And I always tell people too is that like even if someone else is already talking about shorts on shorts, right? It could be delivered in a different way where it has purple chakras and all and all the things, right? But if you want to like give it to me right now, then that's the person that you definitely want to go to. So, Shelly, this has been absolutely amazing. You're a total freaking rock star. I loved everything that you shared. I'm now going to like make sure that my YouTube app is updated. I want to figure out how I could clip out certain of these things because you were just dropping gold left and right.
Have you seen the
And
clip
people,
function?
I
There's also the clip
will.
function, which is very similar to Twitch, which is a little bit different. I noticed it. It's interesting. So kind of like you can do an up to 60-second clip of someone else's video and then like have it. It's interesting. I did it, but it exists.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're getting love from the audience. Everyone is saying terrific episode and a terrific
It's
way
a
to
good way
end
to
the
end the
series.
season, right?
Yeah. You
Woo!
guys, we've talked everything about like how to repurpose your content after you're done live streaming. We've talked about Descript. Dude, complete game changer, right? How to create GIFs, which Shelly knows how to do as well. Creating GIFs from your actual content, blogs,
Yeah,
tweets,
I'm
click to
almost up to
tweets.
100 million views on Giphy. Is that crazy?
That's that's
Is that nuts?
brilliant.
I know. I need to
That's,
make another video on that.
make another short. Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
we've, if you've just tuning into Digital Confetti for the very first time, I mean, that's everything that we've talked about, how you could repurpose your content. And today was all about YouTube Shorts. Previous to that, we've talked about IGTV, how that's also another untapped channel. Man, there's so much that you can do. Keep creating content, create, keep collaborating with other people because man, it's a wild ride when you're live streaming, that's for sure.
I am a kitty cat. You're right, Tenderheart. I'm a very nice kitty cat.
I was like, I need to scan this real quick because I can't put that on screen just yet. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much. Shelly, you're absolutely amazing.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye.
I know it's always like, where do you look? Where do
I
you
know.
look?